What's up my achievement horses, Mayhem Blizz? We're playing Bramble, the Mountain King for the full 1000G. It's available on Xbox Game Pass, so if you got that, pick this up. It takes around 8 hours to get the full 1000G due to the Survivor achievement, which requires us to not die through an entire playthrough. But there is a trick that we can use that requires us to delete our save should we die. I use a slightly different method than other guides mention, which I show you through the entire video, and I was able to obtain that Survivor achievement with no problem. Starting off then, head down and interact with the storybook. There are 7 storybooks we need to look through in the game, as well as collecting 11 figurines. Flick through the book and then hit B when you get to the last page, and then once you've done that, we just need to interact with a few more objects around the room, and then we will be able to interact with the window. Once you've interacted with those 4 objects then, you can interact with the window, you want to have a cutscene, and then you'll be in the forest. In the forest we can hold the right bumper to sprint. It doesn't tell us about that later on in the game, but we can use that straight away. Coming across our first missable achievement then, where I am standing, here is a tiny goal. We need to kick an apple through this goal. So head up the hill to the tree and kick a few apples down the hill towards the goal by walking into them. If none of those went in, you can kick the apples upwards towards the goal, and this will net you the goal achievement for 10 gamer score. Inside this treehouse then, we can interact with the workbench. On the left side of the workbench is our first figurine that we can collect. Interact with it with the X button and then press the B button to pick it up, and that will net you the Lillemor Figurine achievement for 15 gamer score. We can then interact with the matchbox, rotate it in a way that the matchbox opens and the key falls out. We want to pick up the key from the floor and unlock the door.
A light in the dark.
We have an introduction to using the light ability. We have the left trigger to aim as well as the left toggle, and we use the right trigger to shoot. It does feel rather odd using the left toggle to aim. I would much rather it was the right toggle, but we move. So hit all of the targets your sister presents to you, and that will end this section.
Together, they tumbled down deeper and deeper through the old wood.
Another missable achievement here, we want to jump on 5 mushrooms 5 times to obtain the Bouncy achievement for 15 gamer score. I did notice that some of these achievements are a bit delayed, and you may have noticed that with the goal achievement as well. So just keep bouncing on these mushrooms until that achievement pops, and then you can move on. left bumper to crouch inside this bell tower, and then we want to interact with the lever inside, and we want to keep rotating that lever until the cutscene has started.
Gnomes are peculiar and playful creatures. They live peacefully in daylight.
Once you get to the gnome village, just right of the house is a bench. On the right side of the bench is a gnome figurine for us to collect. Once that's collected, then interact with the door next to the hedgehog on the right hand side, and we will be presented with a little mini game after a cutscene where we need to spot all of the gnomes hiding in the village. There are 8 gnomes for us to spot then. We have one behind this tree trunk. We have one behind this bench. We have another on the front porch of the house. We have one just left of the house here. We then have one on the right side of the yellow flowers. We have one in the middle of the yellow flowers. One on the left side of the yellow flowers. And then the final one is hiding behind this cart. We can then use those gnomes to open the door. We are then tasked with another mini game where we need to herd 4 of these plant-like creatures into the pen. So now we are coming up to our first section of the game where you could potentially die, so I'm going to explain this save method. So when you come up to a section where you could potentially die, I want you to go offline. You can do this by opening up your dashboard, going to settings, network settings, and then you select go offline. So then if you were to die, I will show you here as an example. You can then open up the dashboard, quit out of the game, then manage game and add-ons, select saved data and delete all. This is deleting the save of us dying. Then if we go to settings, network settings, and go back online, you want to boot the game up, and this game will load up the Xbox Cloud save, not the local one that we've just deleted, so before we died. Now this game is a bit hit and miss with the saves that you make. You won't be sent back to the point that you went offline. You'll be sent back a bit further. So that is a bit tedious, but it's a lot better than obviously restarting the whole game. And then you just need to remember to go back offline when you reach the same area you could potentially die in. So now that we are safe, we can go to settings, network settings, and go back online. And then we hope the Xbox Cloud makes a save for us, and we have completed that section without dying. So I have left in all of the cases of me going offline and back online, so you can follow the same steps. The only thing you do need to remember is to go back offline when you get to that specific point where you could potentially die again. So again, I'm going to go offline here, and then once I've made it safely across, I'm going to go back online. Now, I'm not going to show every time you should go offline and online, as the video does show that. Just to reiterate though, you are going offline when you could potentially die, and you're going back online when you're safe. Once you get to this door and interact with it, you will need to aim at the gnome behind you and interact with him, and you'll get another cutscene. After that cutscene, we want to go behind this wheelbarrow and push it towards this ledge. We then want to jump on top of the wheelbarrow and onto the ledge to pick up a toy pig. Once you've got the toy pig, interact with the gnome again, and that will trade it for the key to the door. I do go online here to try and initiate a save, but I would actually recommend not doing this and going online when you land on the mushroom. So here is where I recommend you go online. We are coming up to our first boss fight, so make sure to go offline at this point. If you manage to do this boss fight first time, I take my hat off to you. For anyone who dies, remember to quit the game, delete your local save, go back online, and then back offline when the game loads back up. My strategy for this boss was to run in a circle motion. Please note you can fall off this ledge, so make sure you don't get too close to the edge. And when the blood falls on the platform, stand on top of the blood, hold left trigger to aim, and throw the blood at the butcher's face. The second phase, the butcher will slam his fist. Be sure to jump at the moment his fist hits the platform to avoid being stunned and insta-killed. And then hitting him 3 times in the face with the blood will defeat him and net you the butcher achievement for 30 gamer score. Now obviously the achievement hasn't popped right away because we are offline, so once we go online here, the achievement will pop.
A couple of hours ago, he had been in his warm bed. Now, he had almost died several times. His sister was gone, and he was soaked in smelly sewer water.
This section then, we need to free the gnomes above us. Pull the cart a fair way up the track, giving us enough time to jump on the cart and onto this ledge. Once up on the ledge, we're going to push the crate onto the floor, which will open the cage for the gnomes. We've got a missable achievement here, so be sure to go offline. We need to get through all of these bear traps without a single gnome dying. Obviously, if a gnome dies, you can quit, delete your save, and try again. And what I recommend is hugging the left wall until you get to the last 2 bear traps, and I want you to go through the middle of those 2. And the reason for that is the gnomes can actually get stuck behind the wall on the left side there. So once you get through that section, be sure to count your gnomes when you get through. You should have 8 gnomes with you. Obviously, if you don't have 8 gnomes, again, you can quit, delete your save and try again. If you do have 8 gnomes, proceed on, get to the cutscene, and you'll unlock the Savior achievement for 10 gamer score. Once you've gone back online, obviously. After that cutscene then, go offline and use the left bumper to crouch in the tall grass. We want to avoid being spotted by the light. We need to make our way over to the right hand side of the screen. Into the second section then, we need to use the light to locate where the bear traps are in the water. And what you will need to do is memorize their position and avoid them when walking in the dark to the next tall bit of grass. Crouch behind this broken arm for cover, and then we're going to make our way over to the left side to head up some vines. Once we got to the top of those vines, we need to only pass to the next block when the enemy is looking through the opposite section. So here it's safe. Then once he's gone to look over the left hand side, we can then make our way over to the right hand side. Make sure to go online here so you get another save point, and also we want to kick this pine cone out of the cave over the right hand side to obtain the evicted achievement for 10 gamer score. Now this can be rather tedious, especially if he is right on the edge of the cave, as you could potentially fall out of the cave before he does. So it's kind of up to you if you want to go offline just before getting sort of too close to that edge. Just in case that does happen. I took the risk of sort of kicking him on the edge of that cave, but we did sort of exit the cave at the same time. So you do want to go offline either before exiting the cave or just as you exit it. There is a monster in the waters below, so yeah, do make sure you go offline so that monster does not get you. Make your way across these platforms, making sure to run and jump to limit the amount of time that you are in the water. And once you get to this platform with a crate containing a gnome, be sure to push it into the water to get the bait achievement for 10 gamer score. And once you've done that, head out of the water. Jump up on this platform and run and jump over to the platform opposite. And then we're going to interact with these objects in the corner, and you'll find the troll figurine for 15 gamer score. I took a bit of a risk here, but if I were you, I would go offline just before this jump, just in case. You can then go back online during this cutscene. You'll come across this section where you need to stand on these pile of rocks and hit all of the pine cones off the statue to proceed. Now, I don't think you can die here, as I did get hit a few times myself.
William was comforted by the morning sun. He had survived the night, but just barely. At least he had found the stone again. And it felt like it was his sister's way of telling him he was on the right path.
Once you get to this section, then when you're riding a hedgehog, you'll need to jump off in this middle island, make your way around the tree trunk to find the Gnome Figurine for 15 gamer score. You'll come across an area with dandelions. You need to herd one towards the statue to cause it to sneeze and wake up. You can then jump on the statue's hand to proceed on with the level. Once you exit the lake, head to the left hand side to find the Lillemor Figurine for 15 gamer score. Once you land in this cave, hold the left trigger on top of this light to pick it up and light up the path. You'll want to go offline in this section as there are a lot of jumps to do in this cave. These platforms sway towards the area you are leaning towards, so if it looks like you can't make a particular jump, it's probably because you aren't on the edge of the platform to sway it towards the next platform. You do want to move quickly on these bird cages as weight distribution is a factor here. This is the last jump of the cave, so once you've made that jump, make sure to go back online to try and get a save point. You want to be quick at hitting the dashboard button here to go offline, as we have multiple lily pads to jump across, so as soon as you land on that first lily pad, push the dashboard button and go offline. When you get to this section, we are going to take cover and advance one object at a time after each explosion. After you slide down here, you're good to go back online. Before proceeding and going up this ledge, interact with the skeleton, then the book, and flick through it. Once you get to the waterfall cutscene, it's safe to go back online, and you will net the Knackin achievement for 90 gamer score.
closer and closer. He felt as if the darkness took hold of his heart and filled it with fear. Then there was a light.
After a cutscene and that sort of dream state, you will be back in the forest. Once you pass this tree and drop down, instead of proceeding to the right hand side, head left to locate the Tuva figurine for 15 gamer score. We are going to go offline here before jumping onto the roof of the house, and then we need to crouch in the tall grass as well as behind some objects. We also need to use our light ability, which is the left trigger, then the right trigger, to remove the vines holding certain objects we need to hide behind. Once you make it over here, it's safe to go online for a short period, but we do need to go offline once we then jump on another house.
The land was once a peaceful kingdom with a great king. Now, his image embodied the darkness that had drowned the world in Bramble.
And then once you've landed in the statue's hands, you can go online during the cutscene.
Olle felt a chill as he saw the warnings for desperate mothers carrying their infants. They pleaded with them not to carry out the unspeakable acts they had set their minds to.
Once we have gained access to the shack, we need to release the boat. So we need to make our way to the back right vine and use our light ability on it. And this will expose the lever. We can use this to lower this crate. Jump onto the crate and let that take you up higher so you can jump onto this platform, and then we're going to use our light ability again to release the boat. So then we can make our way around and clear this vine blocking this door. And then we can use the boat to cross over. Take the lower path first. At the end here will be another figurine, and this will get us the Carhaxon figurine achievement for another 15 gamer score. Once you've got that, we can go back online and we can head inside the building. Once inside, then interact with the first table on the right hand side and you will find a toy duck on the right side of the desk. We need to pick that up for an achievement. Then interact with the mixture on the left side of the table and press the X button to add it to your mixture. Now, each mixture has a specific symbol and the mixtures we need are defined on the flaming door. So make sure you add the circle mixture and then interact with the pot in the fireplace. After that small cutscene, then we need to gather 2 more mixtures. The 3 circles are found in the cabinet closest to the door in a bottle, and the diamond is located in a bowl next to the other cabinet. Once you have both of those, we can interact with the pot again, and that will initiate another small cutscene and we'll be able to get through the door this time. Once the door is open, you will get the Witchcraft achievement for brewing a potion for 10 gamer score, and in this room right next to the door we just came through is another storybook. We can't miss this one, as once we flick through the entire book, this will reveal a lever we need. Pick up the lever and place it on the wall and use it, and that will reveal a ladder. After that cutscene, then we need to gather some books to get out of the window. So grab this book on this circular table. Grab this book on the top right hand corner of this shelf. There is another book located on this table. And then there's a last book past that table, and it's on a shelving unit. Jump up on the books and then you'll be able to jump up and out of the window.
Ola knew we had to hurry before she could complete the ritual. If he did not catch up with the woman, the swamp would swallow another child. But he did not know that someone else wanted to hold him back. A midwife who wanted more dark souls to take care of.
So when you get here, you can go online quickly to see if a save point is initiated. Just be sure to go offline when you get close to the scarecrow. And then when we get a little bit closer to the scarecrow, again, just make sure you're going offline. Now, this boss fight is a pretty easy one, so not too many worries about this. We want to use our light to release the scarecrow. And then the main thing we want to do is listen and look out for ripples in the water. So the ripples will either reveal a cot or the boss. Now if the boss appears, shoot the boss with the light every time they pop up, and you want to do this 3 times and that's them defeated. So yeah, a pretty easy boss fight, this one. Go back online as soon as you've hit her for the 3rd time, and you'll get the Carhaxon achievement for defeating her. After that small cutscene, head to the left as we need to use our light to release this ship. Obviously don't go online here as we've got a few jumps to do. And then we're going to head back and there'll be a ladder to get on top of the ship and we can use that ship. There'll be a ramp to get over the hut. During this cutscene, you will get the proper burial achievement if you picked up the toy duck that I showed you in the potion room.
There was a light in the darkness. Guilt and sorrow weighed him down, but the warm glow felt comforting. The Lichtgübe was older than the mountain, almost as old as the world itself. He was the keeper of secrets, the gatherer of stories.
In the middle of this library is Storybook 4.
One. His path was lined with the witches yet. Urla wished he could stay in the warm light of the library, but he knew that he needed to reach the mountain and find Lillemor. Suddenly, he heard a familiar voice. Follow me, little brother. I will protect you.
So now we have quite a challenging boss fight. For this first phase of the boss fight, we need to take out her followers that are attached to trees. As soon as you have control over your character, you can take cover behind the tree in front of you, and you'll be able to shoot a follower on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. And that only leaves us with 3 more followers we need to shoot to end this phase. So either keep running to the right-hand side or the left-hand side, whatever your preference is, to find the other followers. And you just want to dodge her attacks. So all but one of her attacks can be dodged by simply hiding behind a tree. As soon as you see any base of the trees to start to rumble, that's when you want to move away from them, as spikes do appear at the base of the tree trunks. and there is quite a delay, so as soon as her attacks is delay, it's usually meaning it's going to be the spikes that appear. All of the others are, all of the other 2 attacks are pretty instant. So yeah, this first phase is pretty easy. Once you've taken out the last follower, we can shoot her with the light as well. After there's a cutscene, we will need to run towards her with our sword, and then they'll perform a sort of action prompt where we need to press the X button when prompted to strike her. Second phase then, similar to before, we need to shoot the followers on the trees, and we can shoot 2 followers straight away. So same thing then, take cover behind the trees unless the base of the tree is rumbling, and a new attack where she spins and summons these explosives. We just need to avoid these, and I would actually take advantage of this attack to make progress, you know, running over to the right hand side or the left hand side so we can reveal more followers. Obviously if we're slow progressing, then we have to avoid more attacks. So as soon as she starts spinning, use that to your advantage to make up some ground. After taking out the last follower then, shoot her again with your light, head towards her, and then press the X button when prompted to, and then that will put us into the final phase. So this phase is a little bit trickier than the others. Straight off the rip we can shoot 2 followers again, so be sure to do that. And the key to my success for this phase was to be quick. Again, the quicker we are, the least amount of attacks we have to avoid, so try to be quick where you can. So the main attack that I would look out for is the water attack. So she will have sort of like red underneath her, and that's when that attack is about to occur. So here is an example. I'm going to get some distance here so I can time my jump, and that is how we want to avoid the water. So again, after each attack we have a little bit of time to take out another follower. So obviously once the attack ends, make sure you take out a follower. Apart from that, I would make your best judgment if explosives or beams of light are near you, and if you have a bit of time, you can take out another follower sort of when your path is clear. Once you've hit her for the 3rd time then, run towards her and go online during the small cutscene. And then we're going to run towards her for the final time. We're going to press X when we're prompted. And then coming up, we're going to be prompted again to mash the X button a few more times. And what we want to do is we want to mash the X button 100 times here until the murderer achievement pops up. And that's for stabbing her 100 times. So do not let go of X. It's best to just keep mashing that so you don't miss out. And just essentially just wait for that achievement to pop up, and then you can stop mashing it. Once you stop mashing it, you'll also get the achievement for defeating her as well.
Ola, what have you done? 2 of us voice called out to him.
After that long walk then inside the house, if you interact with this area on the left hand side, on the shelves you will find the Skog Surret figurine for 15 gamer score. Opposite that then you can interact with this lady, remove her hand from the lever by holding down all of the buttons, rotate the lever and grab the key to the door. Now I want you guys to be extra careful here, even though we have been online since that last boss fight, you may not have a save point yet. I actually got killed here and I had to redo that boss fight and it's a pain. So make sure you're crouched and you're offline. Just follow where I'm going here and then we're going to go into the long grass and then we're going to have to jump up on this platform and then we're going to hold crouch and hug the left side. These birds will always be alerted. I'm going to make sure that these kind of zombie guys go back and start feeding on those corpses until we move. And then here when we jump up on this platform we can then go back online and we will get a new save point. Before proceeding on, head into this hut on the left hand side. At the back of the hut you will find a table that we can interact with, and on that table is our 5th book. Again, you can just flick through and then back out. I don't actually think you need to flick through, but we'll just do it just to be on the safe side.
She ripped that chest open.
So make sure you go offline here before going into the next area. This is where I actually got caught 3 times. Crouch into these long grass on the right hand side and then cross over. And then when we jump up on this platform, it will alert the zombies. And what we're going to do is we're going to wait until the very last minute until we're about to be captured. And then we're going to jump off and that will give us enough time to jump on to that platform. If we leave it, if we don't leave it long enough, the zombies will just have enough time to run around and grab us. So I don't know if the light actually notifies and alerts the zombie in this room, but what we're going to do, we're not going to use the light and we're going to hug the bottom left side, and then we're going to get a crate that we come up towards that we need to just walk around. So hug that crate and walk around it. Once you've walked around it, we can jump up onto the next area. So now we need to create some more potions to get through this door like we did before. Bottom right shelf we can grab the plus from this jar. And then over here on the right hand side of the door we can grab the pentagon from the bowl. And then on the left hand side of the door is this tiny plus located in this flask. So make sure you've added all of those, you can see them in the top left hand corner of your screen. Then interact with the pot in the bottom left hand corner. For this potion then, right next to the door we can grab the middle bowl for the square. And then we can grab the left bowl for the diamond. And then we want to head over to the bottom right shelf, we can grab the 2 mixtures at the bottom. So the 3 circles from the bottle and the triangle from the round bottle. Once you have those 4, over to the pot you go. So to proceed on with the level, we need a key. We're going to head down here and into the building onto the left hand side. Interact with this worktop. On the right hand side, you'll see a key. Let's pick that up with the B button. Head back outside, back where we came from, and through the door. Inside this building then we need to grab a key. We're going to interact with this corpse here, and then we're going to interact with it again and hold all of the buttons down to open the hand. Inside the hand will be a key for the door. Inside this building then will be another storybook for us to collect. This is number 6.
Yes, diary. I wish I could be with him.
So we just have a few zombies here to avoid. If you stand here, and that will force the zombie to fall into that gap. Head up onto these crates, and then we want to let go of our light, and we're going to crouch, and we're going to hug the right side of the wall. This will make sure that that zombie in front of us doesn't see us, and then it's safe to put our light back on. And we're going to drop down here, interact with the workbench, and grab this lever. And then we're going to head back. Next to the window is where we're going to place the lever. We're going to rotate that to clear a path for us. So again here there is another zombie, so just to be safe I'm not using my light here. There'll be a crate for us to jump up on here. I'm going to drop down to the right hand side here, and there are some steps for us to just walk down. So you can use your light there. And I'm going to interact with this door, jump over this and into this building. And now we're all safe to go back online. So we've got a couple of books here to grab to progress on with our mission. This one's sitting directly in the middle of the church, and then up here on these stairs is a book. You shouldn't need any more. You should be able to just jump up on top of these books, and with a jump you should be able to get onto that netting, and then we can jump down this hatch. So make sure to go offline for this section, as we've got quite a bit of running from zombies to do. I do spam the A button to jump, as it looks like it makes you go a little bit faster. We're going to jump through this right hand side fence, and we're going to take the left hand route, and then we're going to go right, and then straight down, across the bridge. So you do see me go online here, but just to be safe, I would make sure you go online once we get to the top of this section. I will let you know. So we're coming up to the Pester figurine for 15 gamer score. Just before we go up the ladder, it is here. So once you picked that up, then I would recommend going online, as it's safe to go up the ladder and initiate a cutscene. Once you interact with the boat, make sure you go back offline, as we are approaching another boss fight. So in the first phase, he has 3 attacks, and after each attack we need to use our light on him. So first off, we need to avoid his rake there, and then aim at him with the light and shoot him. Another one of the attacks will be the rats section. What I would do here is aim towards the least amount of them, and be careful using the jump button here. Only use it if you are going to be hit. Jumping actually got me hit more times than just walking normally. So again, after that attack, make sure you aim and shoot the light at him. So for this one then, we need to locate the odd one out, and it will be the face which has the smoke going into it. So for the second phase, these will be the same attacks. There will just be more of them and harder. So the rake, you may have to jump over it as well as go through it. Obviously, there'll be multiple mini games, and obviously if the rake appears multiple times, you may have to jump for both or jump over one and then underneath another. There'll be more rats to avoid, and there'll be more faces to detect the odd one out, and things like that. The third and final phase, I would recommend having your thumb ready on the A button. This is for the attack where his face is directly underneath you. As soon as that happens, spam that jump button and continue running forward to avoid it. That is the only new attack in this third phase. Obviously, like I mentioned before, all of the other attacks just get a little bit more harder and more of them. Once you know that you've completed the final phase, you are safe to go online, and you'll get the Pester achievement for 90 gamer score. For me, mine silently popped in the background rather than on screen.
As he reached the summit, Ola felt regret. He could not stop his sister from being taken. Regret could not stop the woman from drowning her child.
Once you've cleared all the branches in this area, you will receive the Bramble achievement for 90 gamer score.
The merchant stood before him, and he wished he could ask their forgiveness. He had reached the end that Tuvat pointed him towards. Now, entering the halls of the mountain, Ulle was ready to find his sister.
Interact with this painting, and then interact with the hidden passage in the bottom right hand corner. In this library then is the last storybook that we need, and you will get the Bookworm achievement for 30 gamer score. And directly opposite that is the Gnome Figurine for 15 gamer score. Through this bookshelf then, if you interact with it and look in the top right hand corner, you can find the King's Nils wooden figurine for 15 gamer score, and we'll also get the collector achievement as well for finding all of the wooden figurines. Interact with those doors and the outfit at the end of the corridor, and then we will locate a clock hand in our pocket. Once that small cutscene's over, head over into this direction near the bed. We're going to interact with the clock, and that will place the clock hand on it, and then we need to use the left toggle to rotate the clock hand to 6 o'clock, and then press the X button, and then we're going to rotate it again to 2 o'clock, and then press the X button, and then lastly we're going to rotate it to 10 o'clock, and press the X button again, and that will open up the mirror that was above the dresser, and then you will find a key located there. Use the key on the door and progress on. So make sure to go offline here, and then we're going to progress one object at a time after each explosion. You can then go back online here, as it's safe to do so, and then what we need to do is hold the left trigger and aim our light at the 4 flowers. Shooting all 4 flowers will open this door.
The gate that was meant to be closed forever, now opened. The Mountain King, who was meant to be hidden forever, was now revealed. He just had to reach the sack before Lillemor ended up as the giant's dinner.
Our last final boss fight then, please make sure to go offline as soon as you have control of your character, and when you want to initiate the start of the fight you can just shoot one of the flowers. So the first phase we just need to dodge the knife and fork, and after each attack just shoot one of the flowers. Second phase then, we can shoot a single flower to start it. And after dodging the mallet, we can shoot another flower. And there's going to be some falling debris for the first time. You can shoot another flower as soon as you have dodged that. When the sword comes in, be sure to time your jump. And then after you've jumped over the sword, you can shoot another flower. Mallets come down, we can shoot, debris is going to come down. Make sure to stay close to the debris as well, just in case he's doing his charge ability, which he is now. So you can use the debris to cover you. And then as soon as the music has sort of gone into double speed, he will swipe his sword twice, so make sure to be ready to jump over it twice. And then you kind of want to only shoot one flower at a time. And then as soon as you get this cutscene, you are all good to go online.
The Bramble. Source of the curse blossomed. King Nils tore the bramble rooted in his back and brought it all to an end. The only way to get to Lillemor was now up and in.
After that long walk then, and the long climb up the sword, you'll get a cutscene and you'll get your 90 gamer score for the Mountain King achievement. After a long ending cutscene then, we are back in our original room. But what we want to do is we want to interact with the same objects again. We can see that we've got all the figurines, and then we've got the symbol to interact with the window. So head over to the window, interact with it, and then you'll get your Home Again achievement for 90 gamer score for completing the game. And this is when you'll get your Survivor achievement for also completing a playthrough without dying. So all of those times we went offline and online, it was worth it, guys. I know it was a bit tedious, but for a very difficult achievement, it does make that one easy. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this 1000G, and I hope you managed to obtain that Survivor achievement, no problems. If you could help me get to 2K subs, that would be awesome, and I'll keep dropping videos like this. I've got more Game Pass videos coming up. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.